What else is happening in the world? The government refuses to take responsibility for this tragedy. Let's look into this. Matt Walsh, what's going on?
Daily Wire has reported Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas called out over the weekend after he rejected the notion that the federal government bore responsibility for the murder of a student in Georgia last month who was allegedly killed by an illegal alien. Police arrested 26-year-old Jose Antonio Ibarra, a Venezuelan national, late last month for allegedly murdering 22-year-old Augusta University nursing student Lanken Riley.
But I want to ask you about a criminal case that has become a political rallying point. You heard Donald Trump use this phrase, migrant crime. A 22-year-old nursing student, I know you've been following this, Lanken Riley in the state of Georgia was murdered allegedly by an undocumented Venezuelan migrant. The suspect had been detained by Border Patrol upon crossing, released with temporary permission to stay in the country. He then went on allegedly to commit crimes twice, once in New York for driving a scooter without a license, and once in connection with a shoplifting case in Georgia. Did those states and their law enforcement communicate to the federal government that this had happened? Should this man have been deported?
A few thoughts. First, Margaret, first and foremost, an absolute tragedy, and our hearts break for and our prayers are with the family, number one. Number two, and importantly, as a prosecutor, having prosecuted violent crime and other crimes for 12 years, one individual is responsible for the murder, and that is the murderer. And we work very closely with state and local law enforcement to ensure that individuals who pose a threat to public safety are indeed our highest priority for detention and removal.
Shout out to Matt Walsh, man. He's a funny dude. In terms of that, man, I've been seeing a lot of talk about that as well in terms of migrants coming over in a boatload, in droves, and causing crimes here, man. Of course, you know, I did a video not too long ago in terms of my idea. I guess I was a little uneducated and to the full depth of what could be some of the negative effects of opening up the borders. Right now, of course, in that video, I wasn't necessarily saying that we should just open up the borders and welcome everybody in. I was more so speaking to people that are in dire circumstances that are looking for help, right? So there's a lot of situations where people in other countries are going through things that are life or death situations that no human would be in. That's what I was more so speaking to. I was saying that maybe there could be a way where we could find some type of solution where people could, maybe if it was X amount every, maybe quarterly, annually, whatever you want to do it, where we could say, all right, cool. Start with women and children. Let's bring these people over here. You know, what are the cases as a top priority to see to it that we can help them, assist them if we are in position to do so. Now, people will rebuttal and say, oh, you know, that's not our problem. America has other things they need to focus on, and all of that is valid as well, too. I was under the impression that there could be some type of solution if these people are willing to have the conversation. Again, I'm not necessarily saying open up all the borders, let it be a free-for-all, let people come and do what they want to do. I'm definitely not saying that. But I was thinking in an ideal situation, it would be best if we found some type of solution between countries. However you want to formulate the conversation, I feel like there could be a way where we could take X amount and see to it that these people can be working, you know, citizens of America eventually, right? Whatever process got to hold. And I know there's a process. Somebody I think was explaining to me down in the comment section, saying that there is a process in which people go through where they, you know, fill out the paperwork, they wait a year, whatever the case is, this, that, and the other, and they could do so, right? They can come over to this country legally, going through the right, you know, protocol, which is cool. I was more so speaking to the situations where people don't have time, bro. Like, they need to leave today. Like, they don't have time to submit an application. You know, they've maybe lost everything that they have. They're down to the name. They're wandering the streets. And, you know, if America's a solution where they think that maybe they have family members or, you know, a place to set up shop, whatever the case is, I feel like if America's so high and mighty, then we should be able to do that. If America is the great country of the land of opportunity, let's provide opportunity. It was my thinking, right? So when you have situations like this where, you know, migrants are coming in and they are committing crimes, of course, that's just one story that Matt Walsh was talking about. But I've been seeing a lot others, and people are speculating a lot, well, too, is just like, hey, man, you know, you're hearing talks about like civil war. Again, with anytime there's any type of political, you know, I guess there's a presidency or election coming up, or whatever the case is, there's been rumblings in the news about civil wars. There's a movie coming out next month entitled Civil War. And then people are thinking that these migrants are being planted here for alternative motives. So I do understand. Again, weighing both sides, I do see how one can say, it's a little bit crazy to be bringing these people over here with no penalty. Of course, they'll get a slap on the wrist. They'll come over here, they'll kill people, they'll commit these, atrocious crimes, and then, maybe get deported, maybe, whatever the case is, yada, yada, yada. So now that I am more educated on both the pros and the cons, a little bit more than I was before, I do see that there definitely needs to be some regulation. And I wasn't saying there shouldn't be regulation before. I wasn't saying that there shouldn't be a regulation. I was saying that I think that we could have some type of constructive conversation where both parties could win. Because, again, it's not a matter of the lack of resources. If you're saying, there's not enough money, I think you're wrong. If you're saying there's not enough, infrastructure and housing or resources or land, order the cases to come up with something, you're absolutely wrong. There's plenty of money to go around to see to it that people that are in worse off situations than ourselves could, be treated as humans and have a fighting chance to, live a decent life. So that's my take, basically. But it is, like the gentleman said, again, I don't like to dive too deep into politics, but I do agree that it is tragic for anybody losing a life, regardless of whatever the circumstances are. But I do understand that this is ruffling a lot of feathers of people who think that these migrants that are coming over, committing these crimes and going away scot-free and getting, budgets of, I think I saw news in the other day as well, too, where I don't know if this is true or not. It might have been, but people that are migrating to New York are getting, like, cards, $10,000, gift cards or, insurance cards, whatever the case is, to, establish themselves again, which I think is cool in an ideal circumstance, because who wouldn't want that? But yes, there are Americans in the country right now who are worse off and could benefit from those benefits as well too. So I do understand it is a touchy subject. I just want everybody to be treated like humans, bro. Is it so wrong? Am I too naive to think that there's enough resources out here for everybody to be okay, to have a roof over their head, clean water to drink, clothes to wear, food in their bellies? Is that too much of a stretch? Am I dreaming? Is that a dream? Is that just like, I feel like as a human, we should see to it that everybody has some sort of roof over their head, clean water to drink, food to eat, and some type of way to make money. Like, I think that everybody should do that, man. Like, if you want to work, we could give you work. If you want to, be able to provide for your family, we'll pay you the wages that will allow you to do so. Why can't we just do that, bro? But yet we have billionaires and zillionaires and trillionaires and blah, blah, blah. And this person just spent X amount on this yacht. And this person just spent X amount on this, watch or whatever the case is. And this person just spent X amount on blah, 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 blah. Don't tell me there's not enough money. Don't tell me there's not enough resources, bro. Yes, there is. The funds are just not being allocated properly. That's just my take, bro. So it frustrates me. I'm not going to lie. It is bothering to feel like, man, why can't humans just have basic necessities met, man, in the high and mighty great America? In the greatest country on earth, man. The greatest country on earth should be able to provide for people, man. See to it that there's no such thing as homelessness, man. See to it that everybody can eat, bro. Is that wishful thinking? Am I tripping for thinking that just shouldn't just be just like the standard?